Welcome to another episode of Do You Really Know God? This episode, because of the season, we're going to talk about the true meaning of Christmas. No, it's not Santa Claus. It's not the gifts, not the presents, not the tree. We're going to start off with the, out of the Bible, Matthew 1:18 through 25. Now the birth of Jesus Christ took place in a way when his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph. Before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. And her husband Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. But as he considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had spoken by the prophets. For that is basically how it went when Mary actually was conceived to be pregnant. Her and Joseph were not married yet. They were engaged. And so obviously, like any human being, you're engaged to a woman, all of a sudden she gets pregnant, but yet you guys have not done the deed. You're kind of like, oh, okay.
What just happened here?
Somebody else got to my wife before I did. And you gotta admit, most American, or most people, right there, you're done with that person. That's when the angels went to Joseph and said, hey, now look, sorry, but we're the ones who made her pregnant. It was not another man, it was God.
Imagine hearing that.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be kind of a strange feeling of, as a person, I feel betrayed by God now.
I was gonna say, it's one thing to get cheated on. It's another to get cheated on with God.
Yeah, it's like,
cause like if you get cheated on, maybe you can just be like, well, I'm better. You know, but if it's God, no, you ain't.
No, it acts like it's God. It's like, yo, bro, we're supposed to be bros here.
Right.
You're supposed to be taking my woman.
Right.
I wonder how that God relationship went.
Yeah, right. Just be like, listen. I know I did this thing the other day, but this is a little extreme.
It's one thing to punish me, but man. You just took my woman.
You know, have my camel die or something, but God.
So basically, a lot over time, the meaning of Christmas has lost a lot. And here's one reason why I want to do this for the true meaning of Christmas is, I hear a lot of adults talk about how once you get older and you don't believe in Santa Claus no more, Christmas don't feel the same. And to me, that's a very sad statement about it, because Christmas should never change, because, and it's our fault as a society, because as a kid growing up, you base it around presents and Christmas trees and Santa Claus and that.
Yeah.
When we shouldn't be.
No, that's not.
It should be based around the birth of Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior. And as an adult, it should not change the meaning of Christmas or the feeling of Christmas, because of the fact that we're supposed to be celebrating the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
It's the day that humanity was saved. Because if that didn't happen, we would not be here right now to be celebrating Christmas.
Right.
Because God was about fed up with us and ready to kind of do us in like he did in other situations. And it was because of the birth of Jesus that saved us. Now, Jesus was born basically as a lamb, per se, because he's born and put on this world And I know you've heard this saying before, but I heard it for the first time the other night, and I liked it.
Oh.
He was put on this earth to basically live the way we're supposed to live, but he died in the way that we should die. And he died to take our sin. He's a man who basically went through his life healing people. He went through his life sinless, not creating any sins, yet he died on a crucifixion, the worst death that you could possibly die, and in the area.
Well, I mean, the easiest way to think about it is like, say you're back in school and you're in class and the teacher assigns a project and like he hands everyone a card with a number on it, and whoever has the same number you do the group project with them. And then your friend gets the same number as that cute girl or that cute guy, you know? And you just go to him and be like, hey, I know you're supposed to work with them, but you want to switch with me, and then you get Joe Blow over there and I'll get the cute girl? And they're just like, yeah, sure. Switch cards, and you know what I'm saying?
No, you lost me on that
Like,
analogy.
alright. So, you're in school, right? Let's say you're in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a crush on this one girl.
Yeah, I got that whole thing, but I'm just trying to see how it ties in.
Because Jesus originally got the card with the cute girl. He lived the perfect
now
life.
when you put it like that, okay, I can get it that way.
And then he switched to do the project with Joe Blow over
with the
there.
stinky guy.
Yeah, exactly, with the stinky kid versus with the cute girl.
Yeah. And Jesus Christ, I mean, this is the season to celebrate. And yeah, there's a lot of tragedy that happens around the holidays, and a lot of people don't like the holidays because of memories of who we've lost, which we've all lost. I don't care who you are on this planet, you've lost somebody.
Yeah.
And holidays does seem like it should be worse as far as with the losses, which we shouldn't be thinking that way. And I don't think that way at all during the holidays, even though I lost some good people around the holidays. And I do miss other people who don't get the holidays because they're gone or whatever. But the holidays is not about loss, it's about the birth of Christ. And to me, in the holidays, I love Christmas time. Mainly, I mean, I'm not big into the gift giving and all that. That stuff don't do nothing for me. But for me, like the holidays, this is the time that it kind of reminds me that thanks to Jesus Christ, people who I've lost is now in heaven.
Yeah.
They now get the good life. They're sitting there laughing at us while we're sitting there crying over them, saying, oh, poor them. And they're like, yeah, heck with you, man. I'm up here having a good old time, not in no pain no more.
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but this was a while back. I was probably about 5-6 years old. And we have always had an angel topper for our Christmas tree. And one year on Christmas, and it was very shortly after Auntie Dawn died, I was upset because Auntie Dawn wasn't here. And you told me that Auntie Dawn was here, that she was the angel on top of our tree watching. And not to be sad because she's not here, because she's up in heaven having a party with Jesus.
Yep.
She's at Jesus' birthday party.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, it's hard to think of it that way, but we gotta, as Christians, and you know what, if you're a true believer of the Christ and true believer of God and really believe in the faith, you'll understand the meaning, and God will give you that sense of peace,
Right.
I guess we can say.
Yeah.
Of, she's not the time to be sad. Actually, I use this month of December, out of all my months of the year, I mean, I pray all the time, but month of December, I do probably my most praying. Many different reasons. One is the end of the year for this year, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you're in. So I have my praying for my blessing and thanking God for making it through this year. But I also do a lot of praying, blessing for my up and coming years. That's coming up. blessings for that. But I also use this month because of praying, because this is the month of Jesus Christ's birth. So we gotta kind of celebrate him more. Not Santa Claus. We're here to celebrate Jesus Christ. And I celebrate him, and with that, I give a lot of praise and thanks to him.
Yeah.
Not praise just for blessings. I pray about thanking God for sending Jesus. Thanking Jesus for living the life he lived so I can go to heaven with my sin himself. And us, as dirty people that we are, we can actually not be tortured to death. We can actually go to heaven.
But, this is the reason I brought up this topic for this week. And this, honestly, is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. But it's a real reality shock. Is when I was in basic training, I graduated December 13th.
Yep.
There was a kid who I was talking to him. It was like 2 days before we graduated. He was talking and he was like, yeah, I'm so glad we get out now because I got all this money in my bank account and I can buy my parents this and that and my siblings this and that. And I was like, I mean, that's cool and all, but you get it's not all about the gifts, right? And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, Christmas isn't about giving gifts. And he's like, yeah, it is. I was like, no, it's about Jesus' birthday.
Or giving praise.
And he was like, I didn't know Jesus was born on Christmas. I thought he was born on Easter.
Really?
Yeah, and I just sat there and I was like, no. I said, so Christmas is not his exact birthday.
No.
But it's the day we celebrate as his birthday.
Representing his birthday.
Yeah. So I told him the whole thing. I was like, yeah. I was like, the story of Jesus? He's like, yeah, he was born in a garage or something. I was like, no. Hold up.
Doesn't the kid even listen to Christmas carols? I mean, you listen to Christmas carols, I tell you.
But I told him, I was like, he was born in a manger. I was like, his mom got pregnant, but she was not, she didn't have sex with anyone. That's why she's called the Virgin Mary. And I was like, they were traveling to Bethlehem, and all their places where they could stay
were filled up.
Yeah, and I told them, like, nowadays a motel. I was like, all those types of things were filled up, and so one person finally gave them the back of the building, which was kind of like a porch.
Oh, no, it's a manger. What a manger is, back then, it's like a place like where you put your sheep.
Oh, see, I didn't even
Or you put your animals. A manger is kind of like a little mini barn for your animals.
See, I thought it was like a porch.
No.
Kind of.
No, it's like a little barn for your animals.
Well, if you're listening to this, I lied to you. I'm sorry. But I told him it was kind of like a porch, and how 3 wise men came and they gave him myrrh and I can't think of it off the top of my head now, but everything else that they gave him and all this type of stuff. And he was like, I never knew that. I always thought Christmas was about giving gifts. I was like, okay. Well, now you know. Have a good one.
Do you know where the legend of Santa Claus came from, right?
Wasn't there a real, like, Polish or Dutch man or something like that?
It was, I think it was either Germany or Poland. There was a man that was years ago who basically decided to start helping the poor families in the town.
Yeah.
And he started getting gifts, and Christmas Eve, he dropped them off on their doorsteps. And it just took off from there. As they called him Santa Claus because nobody pretty much knew who he was for a while there. And then when they found out, other people started helping him so he could help more people. And it built from there, and that's where the story of Santa Claus came from.
You know what I never understood? Alright, so Santa Claus, his name is Kris Kringle, right?
Yeah.
Where did they get Saint Nick from?
Because, no idea. Kris Kringle was actually the name of the guy who actually did...
Was that his name?
That was his name. Saint Nick... Well, Chris, believe it or not, the name Christopher is Saint Christopher.
Yeah.
But Saint Nick, I don't know where they got Saint Nick. I know they call it Saint because Santa Claus is supposed to be a saint. But where they got Nick from, that'd be a good thing for people to let us know if anybody knows that out there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where they get Saint Nick because maybe that's his middle name.
Chris Nick Kringle.
Christopher Nick Kringle.
I don't know. I've always wanted that.
It's a good question. I almost thought I had the answer, then I had to think about it again. I said, no, I don't have the answer.
Right. But back to the point of the story is there's actually people out there that don't know the true meaning of Christmas. And that's one of the reasons that I brought it up. That, and we're not very good at doing holiday themed topics. We usually don't think about doing them until after the holiday game.
But here's the thing is, also, like when Devin mentioned it to me, I thought it was a good idea. Not only because a lot of people don't know the meaning of Christmas, but a lot of people they may know the meaning of Christmas, but they lose the thought process behind Christmas. So like everybody thinks that, like I hear people, I have multiple talks with people and they say, oh, I hate the holidays, it's so sad. No, it's not. It's sad because you make it sad in your head.
Yeah.
It's not about making it sad in your head. Christmas is supposed to be a time to rejoice and praise Jesus for giving us what he's given us. What people don't realize is what so many people gave up for Jesus to do what he did. I mean, you're talking, Mary was a virgin, had to bear a child. Now you women, think about it. You all bear childs, but you wasn't a virgin when you had to push it out. She was a virgin when she had to push that child out. On top of it, she had to explain to her future husband why not to leave her.
Yeah. And
Joseph now had to explain to other people why he ain't leaving her. And on top of it, he had to, you gotta think about this. And yeah, you know it's God's child, it's Jesus Christ. But think about it. You gotta raise a child that's not yours. That is God's child, or you're told it's God's child. And you gotta raise it, you gotta feed it, you gotta teach it the ways, and obviously you gotta teach it certain ways because you're teaching God's child. You're not teaching any child, you're teaching God's child.
It's gonna be like, you know, those parents that pick kids up from preschool and be like, oh, and driving in the car and be like, oh yeah, the teacher said this word today. And the parent's like, what? And they go and turn back around. Joseph's gonna die and gonna get to heaven, and the guy's just gonna look at him and be like, so, what'd you teach my kid? I think that'd be funny.
Did you know when you wasn't looking, Jesus repeated that F word that you dropped?
You know, Jesus came up here and he was like, F that hurt. And I'm like, where'd you learn that? Joseph said it.
Oh, not too much fun there. But, so you gotta figure how many people's lives this affected by having a child of God. And you can't take like today's standards. Because today's standards, I mean, women have kids out of wedlock all the time.
Not only that, but there's a lot of step parents now too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys who will take on a girl who's already bearing child.
Yeah.
And but you gotta think of back in the day, people didn't do that. If you were a female and you was bearing a child without being with the father, you was considered a whore.
Yep.
You was considered dirty, unclean, and you were basically exiled from everybody. Nobody wanted nothing to do with you. You was exiled from everything. And now you're going to be pregnant with God's child, and you know, I don't care what day and age it is, whether it was back in the old days and nowadays, you come out and you say, yeah, I have God's child in my belly. People are going to be like, okay, quack. Okay, you're done.
Yeah.
Cut the drinks off for her. You know, Mary's using some stuff over here. She's doing some good stuff over here. And no matter what, people ain't going to believe you. So it's not like you can go around and say, hey, I'm carrying God's child.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you really can't do that because there's a lot of kings that did not want God's child to come. Because it was thought by, in the Bible, or not in the Bible, but by preachers and prophets, that God's child was going to come in on this white horse as this great warrior, and he was going to defeat all nations.
He was just going to come in and be like, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine.
So a lot of kings feared him, just to begin with, just because of that. So as a mother bearing God's child, you can't openly acknowledge, hey, yeah, I'm pregnant with God's child. Yeah, this is God's. Don't mess with me, I'm carrying God's child. Because chances are she probably would have been killed.
Yeah.
Before bearing birth. And then you got Joseph, who has to live his life known as not his child, back in that time.
Not only that, is God's child, so you know he's going to be like 10 times better than you are.
Yeah, and you got to think about all the pressures of raising him and this, that, and the other. And your buddies when you're sitting there having a beer out back and he's like, hey, somebody got to your wife before you, huh? And you can't tell him, hey, yeah, God did.
Yeah, right.
So, you got to put up the harassment of people. And that's one of the reasons why Joseph and Mary had actually a very tough time finding places to live. Because of that fact.
Yeah.
That's why they had to leave Jerusalem, because they originally lived in Jerusalem. And they got chased out because of her bearing child out of wedlock. So they got chased out of Jerusalem, and they had to go hiking cross country. Now, mind you, this is not like they jumped in a family SUV and we're going to take a road trip across state.
Right.
And we're talking, let's see, we're going to hoof it. And you picture when they're hoofing it, Mary's 8 months pregnant, 9 months pregnant. She's ready to give birth at any time, and they're hoofing it through desert. So they're hoofing it through desert, trying to find any place to rest. And when they came to the small town of Bethlehem, which is in Judah at the time, and could not find any place to live, that night that they're looking for a place, it was pouring rain out. And if you know anything about the Middle East, and if you're a soldier who's been in the military for a while, you know about the Middle East. It is like 120 degrees during the day, but it's like 40 degrees at night in the wintertime there. And after being 120 during the day, your body can't adjust to that 40 degrees. So put rain on top of it, they're freezing cold.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to find any place to lay their head where they could be dry and warm. And when they got to the town of Bethlehem and they needed a place to live, all the inns were taken. So there's no place for them to sleep like in an inn. So one of the inns actually had a manger in the back, which a manger is basically like a horse stable or animal stable.
Yeah.
And said, hey, you can stay out in the stable, we don't care. Stay with the animals out there. And believe it or not, and it is said in the Bible, but people don't emphasize this, there was animals in that stable with them. They were not alone. It wasn't just them sitting in the stable and have this whole stable to themselves, all nice and cushy. There was animals in there, sheep or whatever else they had, cows, lambs, horses, whatever they had, camels.
Imagine you're just giving birth and the horse is just sitting there locking eyes with you.
I won't say this next comment. But anyways, so you're trying to find a nice warm place to stay, so then they get into the manger. Which is not warm, but at least it's dry. So they gotta use hay and all that, and they had like, think of like cloths to cover up, but I think about like potato sacks.
Yeah.
Twine. That's the word I'm looking for. Like twine blankets and stuff like that to cover up with and keep warm. And that's where they basically stayed to give birth. And like in the Christmas songs, they talk about Jesus in the manger and all this, but people don't really get the picture of what it was like that night in the manger.
No.
We were talking cold, wet, rainy. The clothes got drenched to try to do anything to get warmed up a little bit. There is no doctor or midwife that's going to come out and deliver the baby. They got to pretty much do that themselves. So it was quite the rough thing, and it's quite the thing that you had to give up on your life, because like Joseph at the time, he was a carpenter, and he had a very good job in Jerusalem that he basically had to give up to go on the road with Mary, with a child that's not his.
Not only that, now you're a parent, and that takes a lot more responsibility, and you didn't even ask for it.
Yeah. Yep. So, mind you, so now all this, and then you get the star of the Christ that came out, and the shepherds seen that. So that's when they made their way to, they went to Jerusalem first, following the star, and then
didn't an angel come down and talk to him?
Yeah. Angel, well, they made it to Jerusalem, because they followed the star to Jerusalem. Because probably back in the day, Jerusalem was where the Holy Temple was. It was where the main holy place was. It was the Holy Town.
Yeah.
So, I don't know about you, but I'm following the star and it's going past Jerusalem. You're going to think it's Jerusalem where God's child is going to be born.
Right, the holy place.
But when they got to Jerusalem, that's when the angel came down and said, no, buddies. You're in the wrong place. You got to keep going north. You got to go to Bethlehem. And the angel came down, talked to him, and basically, and they went, and now you gotta figure, think of a shepherd back in the day. A shepherd back in the day was considered kind of like a hobo of today.
Yeah.
A shepherd was not like some praised person. We're not talking like you got the Pope coming to your stable, or the president, or even like a military man.
No, you got
that. You got the town hobo coming to you.
You got that guy that stands outside the Sonic holding a sign.
Yes, that's what shepherds were considered in the day. They were not like holy people or praised people, but they went and they got what they needed to get, and they went to see the baby Jesus. So they went and seen Mary. And so now they made it to the manger, and they got there like what the Bible says is like shortly after Jesus was born. They were not there while she gave birth, but they showed up shortly after to give their respects and to give their gifts.
Yeah.
Now, with the gift they gave is what obviously probably got, they don't say it, but probably what kind of got Joseph and Mary into a house or whatever on their feet a little bit to go, because they got gold and silver and myrrh and that. So
there's this joke that Michaela dies at every time. It's a Bible joke, and it's supposed to be about Jesus's birth, how the wise men are giving them stuff, and it's a guy, I think it's a TikTok, he has a hood on, and he's like, I brought you gold, and he goes, I brought you silver, and the third guy goes, I brought you myrrh, and then he pulls his hood down, and he goes, murder, and then you see him off the side, and go, Judas, no! She says that, I think it's the stupidest joke ever, but every time I hear about that, that's all I can think of.
But so then it's cold manger. They make it through the night. Now, mind you, if you look at like true nativity scenes, somebody who followed the Bible in the nativity scene, they put animals in the nativity scene.
Yeah.
That's the reason, because they're basically in a barn with the animals.
Right.
So they make it through the thing and Jesus is born. Now, mind you, after Jesus is born, Joseph starts building life there again in Bethlehem, or trying to.
Right.
But shortly after, that's when the king of Judah gets wind of Jesus being
born
in Bethlehem, and how Jesus was going to be the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and going to rule all people. So he was like, whoa, no, I'm the King of Kings, so yeah, you're not ruling me. I'm going to kill this kid before he even gets to that point to even try to take my throne. So now he sends out an army out to kill Jesus.
Yeah, and they're killing everyone, what, 2 and under?
To every kid 2 years old and under in the town of Bethlehem. Angel comes to Joseph and Mary and says, hey, you know I put a kid in you, you're pregnant for God's kid, and I had to tell you, but now you guys need to run again. Because people are coming to kill you people. So Get out, get on that donkey, get running again. So now you got these people out on the run again. Now you got to think about this. This is a lot to put on a young couple.
Oh, yeah.
Who basically don't have anything to take with them. And they're just basically now like, oh boy, we just spit the kid out and we got God's kid. Now people coming to kill us. What the heck? What happened to the shepherds that were giving us stuff? Now they want to kill us.
I didn't hear this in the contract.
So now they have to go and flee. They fled to Egypt. Now, mind you, anybody who read the Bible and is Christian about it, or even know a little bit about the Bible, know that Egypt is not the place for Jews to go. Jewish people don't want to go to Egypt because it was Egypt that basically enslaved them for that 70 years.
Yeah.
They just got done escaping Egypt. So, hey, wow, you're like, man, we just escaped this place. Now we're going to run back there to be safe. How is this working?
I just got out of here.
So now they have to run to Egypt to be safe. And then they spent the next 3-4 years, so the first 3-4 years of Jesus' life, in Egypt to raise him for a bit before they actually make their way back into Israel. And that's when they went to Nazareth after that. So in this short period of time, a lot happens to this young couple. So when we're talking about Christmas, is you want stuff to be thankful for? Be thankful that you don't have to go through what Mary and Joseph had to go through. Yeah,
right. Imagine it's the first Christmas and you started off like that.
Yeah, I mean, here you are, you're a young couple, you're not even married yet, and your bride-to-be gets pregnant by God. You have to accept it. Because, I mean, think about it. If Joseph divorced her and said, no, you're a pig, I'm done with you, I'm sure you're going to have some type of...
his mom.
I'm sure you're going to have some type of repercussion from God on that one.
Yeah. Especially since after he sent the angel down.
And then you got to figure about this. Is for your whole life, basically, or Jesus' whole life. Talk about baby daddy problems. Think about it. Your baby daddy is God.
Yeah. I bet you he ain't paying child support either.
So it's like, wow, that's quite the thing to live up to.
Right.
Following in the footsteps of your baby daddy's God. And no matter what you do, he's watching you.
Yeah.
It's not like you can avoid him. You can't get a restraining order against him.
Walk into the temple. Hey, I know you guys got a lot of documents there. Is there a restraining order one?
Against God?
Yeah. Like, he just watches me too much. I feel like he's stalking me.
So, then they have to leave their home in Jerusalem.
Where they built their life.
Where all their family is, both of them. And it's where Joseph has his business, where he's a carpenter, probably making a lot of money as a carpenter. Because back then, carpenters made pretty good money. And then he had to escape there, go to Bethlehem, only to be there for a few days or maybe a few weeks, to have to run from there to go back to the same country that your people ran from to begin with, Egypt, and then have to live out there for 3-4 years and make it and survive. And then you come back to Nazareth and rebuild again. And
definitely not a situation I'd want to be put in.
It's quite a lot of pressure and a lot of burden. And the thing is I hear people cry about their lives are so hard. Their lives are so hard. There's so many troubles going on. Dude, you don't got troubles, man. You think about the birth of Jesus, that's troubles.
Yeah.
You don't really got troubles. And then she gives birth to this child, which can heal the blind. Imagine raising a kid that can heal the blind, raise the dead, walk on water. I'm sure, especially like any little kid, they hit that point where they kind of realize what they can do, but they can't realize what they can do. They don't know how to control it.
So they're doing it left and right.
I'm sure there's a time when Jesus was doing miracles that he didn't realize he was doing them or how he was doing them. And Mary's like, knock out, Jesus. I don't know how I did it.
I mean, think about that.
You're trying to give him a bath and he's floating on the water. He's like, get in the tub!
That'd be hilarious. Sitting there trying to...
There's actually a Facebook meme of that, and it has Jesus standing on the water in the tub, and Mary standing there and saying, Jesus, I'm going to count to 3, and you better get in that water.
Well, imagine you just sitting there and, you're trying to you're at a public pool and all this, and you're just sitting there, and all of a sudden, all the water turns to wine, and you just sit there and go,
Got a bunch of happy kids in the pool.
Right, and you're just like, Jesus, what are you doing? I don't know. And then you gotta sit there. You can't punish him because he didn't do it on purpose.
It turned red, I don't know, but it's good. But, I mean, people, I just hear people complain about their lives and how difficult it was, or they feel their lives. I'm not taking away from anybody in the difficulties of life, because we all have our own difficulties in life.
I saw this one thing that said, it was a post, and this girl was saying how, those rich girl posts?
Yeah.
The one where it's like, oh, my dad bought me the newest Lamborghini for Christmas, but I wanted the Bugatti, and that type of stuff. And this one person, now obviously those are fake posts.
Yeah.
I hope nobody is that spoiled.
Oh, I'm sure there are people.
But, those are funny posts, and someone put on there that I kind of like, never that I judged people for it, but just, it was a realization for me, is that everybody has their own version of hard.
Oh, like it is.
If, let's say you're rich and you lose $20, but you've never lost $20 before, that's going to hurt you really bad.
Not really. It's just what I call, there's a bunch of stuff like, I have a lot of conversations with a lot of different people. And I had a friend who, he never had money or whatever, and I also had a friend who had money, who lost a lot of money, and used to complain about different stuff, and like the economy was bad, and he complained about it. And my broke friend used to be like, how can he complain? How can he complain about anything? He had a couple $1 million. How can he complain? He don't have to struggle. You're broke at different levels.
Yeah.
When economies happen, everybody gets broke in a certain way. You get broke at different levels. You gotta figure, if you're rich and say you make $1.5 million a year, okay? You live the lifestyle of having a $1.5 million a year income. You might have that $15-20 million house, that your house mortgage is about $30,000 a year, a month, $30,000 a month house mortgage that you're paying for. And the economy all of a sudden drops. Now you're not making $1.5 million no more. Now you're making, say, $90,000 a year, or $900,000 a year. Everybody goes, yeah, he still makes $900,000. Yeah, but that don't even cover his house mortgage.
Yeah.
Because his house mortgage is a lot more than your $600 a month house mortgage.
Yeah, well, the example they used was like, let's say you have 2 kids, and one is, used to getting stung by bees. One gets stung by bees all the time because they like to go over and rattle the bee's nest, right? And you have another kid, and they're walking by, and they get stung by a bee, and they start crying and freaking out, but they never been stung by a bee before.
Yeah.
So to them, they're like, what's going on? What happened? But the kid on the side just like, oh, come on, it's not that bad. Because they've gone through it multiple times.
Yeah.
It's all about, what hurts you.
Yeah, every walk of life is different.
Yeah.
We all have our own walk in life.
So just because someone has something more fortunate and they complain about something that you don't have or something that you don't see as unfortunate,
yep,
doesn't mean it's not unfortunate.
No.
It just means that you have different levels.
I think the best visual one that I seen, it was on a Facebook post. And it had a rich guy with a Lamborghini. He goes, this Lamborghini's a piece of junk. I wish I had a different car. Meanwhile, this other guy has just a regular BMW, and he's looking at the Lamborghini saying, man, I wish I had a Lamborghini. What are you talking about? I'm driving a crappy BMW. And the next guy is driving a old Ford and say, why are you saying a crappy BMW? I'm driving an old 30-year-old Ford. And the next guy is on the side of him like, what are you calling a crappy old Ford? I'm driving a pedal bike. Yeah. And the guy on the next side of him is like, dude, you're lucky you got a damn pedal bike. I gotta walk everywhere. And the next guy down, he's like, dude, you're lucky you can walk. I lost my legs. I got no legs. Whole different, everybody has a different walk of life.
Exactly.
And it can go so many different ways. And we all have our hardships. And yeah, as people, we always want better. No matter what you got, as people, for some reason, we're never satisfied with what we got. We always want one step better.
Yeah. Keeping up with the Jones.
Yeah, you want, like, you got the brand new 2020 Toyota Camry, and you're driving that around, but then you see a 2020 Corvette go by, and it's like, oh, I wish I had that.
Yeah.
No, be happy with what you got. And that's why, like, it's funny because everybody always laughs at me because I'm happy with my old junker cars. I drive an 86 Camaro that needs a paint job. Right now it's burning oil so bad I smoke everywhere. I love my old car, and everybody's like, why don't you get rid of that piece of junk and get a new car? Yeah, I love my old car. I'm happy with my old car. Right now you could turn around and tell me, hey, I'll give you the keys to a 2020 BMW 730i. Keep it. I don't want it. I'll stay with my Camaro. Because here's the thing. Me, as a realist, I know once I take that BMW, I don't have if I gotta fix my Camaro, I can do most repairs on my Camaro for under $100. You don't get that no more when you get that 2020 BMW.
No.
Now you're talking $1,000 every time you gotta repair. Heck, an oil change on a BMW is $130.
Yeah. And,
oil change on my Camaro is about $20.
Yeah. But that's another thing that you gotta look at for the true meaning of Christmas is that a lot of people look at what they don't have versus what they do. And that's another thing. And I think that's kind of the point of Jesus. One of the points of Jesus coming is, we talked about it a little bit last episode. Your life is bad. Okay, cool. God will fix it.
He will.
Let's say you go and you get in a car wreck. And I have this app, it's called iFunny. It's just a bunch of memes and stuff. And there was a post. It was a picture of a Tumblr, I believe it is, post. And it said, it was one of these things where it was like, category where a bunch of people tell different stories.
Yeah.
Well, one of them was, what was the most tragic story that happened to you? And, you know, most people are saying, oh, my mom died and that type of stuff. And this one guy posted, and he was like, when I was 16, I just got my brand new car. Didn't even have my license yet, but I got my car for my birthday because I was getting my license not long after. And I decided to sneak out in the middle of the night and take it out for a ride. And then I was going, I think he said like 100 something down the road, hit a curve too fast and completely wrecked the car. And it was a brand new car. I think it was like, at the time it was a 2008 Sonata or something like that. And he totally wrecked the car, lost his legs, like physically his legs got cut off in the wreck and everything. And he broke his arm and all this. He was in a coma. And when he got out and everything, he says that he just wish he would have died. And it's like, when you have an outlook on life like that, it's like, yeah, you don't have legs anymore. Yeah, you broke your arm and, you know, you can't remember all that much because of the head damage and whatnot. Maybe your speech is slurred. But there's always a way and a reason. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know, I just think outlooks like that are so selfish.
It is. But here's the thing is, one day we all will die. You'll get your chance to die, don't worry about it. Your number will be up, we all get that chance. But people try and look at, like, everything as a bad thing, but if you believe in God, I was blessed by God again last week, okay? I cannot even tell you how many times God blesses me with my business, where I don't even know how to thank him or pay him on all the blessing he got. As you all know, I'm very far from selfish. I let way too much leniency happen in my business. I let customers do payment plans, and some of them kind of burn me and don't pay. And money gets tight around here. Gets tight quite often. And especially in the month of December, everybody's trying to buy Christmas gifts. So
yeah, they're not coming in
as much right now because holidays.
Yeah.
Which is every business out there for automotive. And last week I was panicking, and Devin can contest because I didn't have money for payroll. I'm like, man, how am I going to pay my payroll? And I was like trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to see if there's anybody I can collect money from, what I can do, what can I do to get money for payroll. Now guess what? Mail comes Friday, and payroll is on Friday. I get a $1,000 check. A bonus check, a quarterly bonus check for running this program with the auto parts store. It's a quarterly bonus check that I get if I do so much in parts for a little under $1,000. I got the check, hurry up, signed it, told Devin, run down to the bank. He ran down to the bank. I made payroll. God's blessed me. I don't know how many times on that where I'd be stressing of how I'm going to pay this bill. All of a sudden, pa-dink! You ask, you shall receive. God makes sure we're getting through it.
Yeah.
He ain't giving me riches to make me rich, because he's like, you dummy, you got to quit doing this, you got to quit doing that, you got to help yourself some. But when I get in a bind, he makes sure I can take care of my people and my responsibilities.
Right, and the thing is like, you know, a lot of people look at, like you said earlier, what they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care what. And I'm not a super positive person in the sense, like, I'm not one of those type of people where I look at everything as rainbows and butterflies. But I 100% believe that you can look and find a good thing in every single situation.
Oh, there's good in everything. There's bad in everything, too. Here's the other thing. There's good and bad in everything you do. Every second of your life, you have a good and bad. It's your outlook on how you look at it. And Zig Ziglar says it the best when he says, he goes, I hate it when people say, I had a bad day. because your whole day was not bad. You had a bad moment. And like he says, if you're having a bad moment, go take a breath, take a deep breath, go outside, come back in, and you got a new start. Now you can have a good moment.
Yeah, and one of the things, this is kind of more of a joke than anything. I heard it from someone, I can't remember who I heard it from, but this past week I've been going to my armory to help them out with some stuff. And we're over there, we're doing stuff, and we're me and a couple other people that were there were talking about expectations and, how, what's a good day versus a bad day and all that type of stuff. And I was like, I told them about the joke, and it was pretty much just goes, I wake up every morning telling myself it's going to be the worst day ever. Because it's easier to have something good happen when you think it's the worst day ever and be classified as a good day versus wake up and say this is going to be a good day and then one bad thing happen and ruin your whole day.
And you're right. But the thing is, you cannot let one bad moment ruin our whole day.
Right.
But as people, in human nature, we do. And with this all, I think during the holiday season, we stress ourselves out more because we're so concentrated on what can we give the next person as a gift.
Yeah.
You know what? You gave them the gift of your presence, of your being, of you being around. You want to give somebody the best gift ever? I can tell you the best gift you can give any person out there. And I don't care what anybody says, this is by far the best gift ever. Giving me the compliment or a hug. That's the best gift you can give any person out there. Because here's the deal. If you were able to receive a compliment or a hug, that means you're still breathing. That means God gave you another day to live. What can be better than that?
No, and I mean, honestly, and it's just stupid stuff also that you can give a stranger. Like, so today while I was doing RMA, that's what it's called when I go to drill when I'm not supposed to be. And they told me that I was going to take a PT test. And it was supposed to be for a possible promotion. They couldn't guarantee it to me, but they said, if you pass this, we might be able to promote you. They said, will you be ready? I said, yes, I can definitely be ready for that. Well, I went in, I did my push-ups, everything's good. And it got to my sit-ups, and I did one less sit-up than I needed to.
Oh.
And then...
A couple too many cream pies.
Something. But I think, honestly, what it was I had nothing to eat before then. And I took it at 1:30. So I went all day without eating. So I think I gassed myself up. But anyway, I did one less sit-up than I needed to. So they failed me, and they said, do you still want to take the run? I was like, let me run and see where I'm at. I passed the run. And I was sitting there, and in my head, I was like, I did one less. You guys really gonna fail me? And they failed me, which, that's the rules. That's how it goes, whatever. Well, they told me, they're like, hey, we know you didn't eat lunch because you're taking the PT test. Go get in your car and go grab some lunch. I was like, all right. So I get in my car, and I was planning on getting a salad from McDonald's, but apparently they cut that from their menu. So I pull in, and I was like, just give me a 10-piece chicken nugget meal then. And the lady was like, okay, it's gonna be 6 and change. Okay. I get up to the window, and there's a lady in front of me, and she took forever to pay. And I was honestly getting very upset because I was sitting there, I was like, listen, I gotta be back in a couple minutes. I need you to hurry up so I can pay and get back. Come to find out, she paid for my meal for me.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
So you gotta pay it forward. That is awesome.
And she paid for my meal, and I was sitting there, and I was like, I just failed a PT test. So I wasn't feeling good at all. I was like, man, she's about to make me late. I was like, I'm not feeling very good. And then she paid for my meal, and I was like, you know what? That was so sweet of you. And so I ended up buying the person behind me meal, and I don't know what happened after that. But it's, she just saw I was in a military uniform. She did not see me take my PT test. She did not see, the mental struggle I was going through after failing that PT test. All she saw was someone in a military uniform and said, I think I'm going to pay for their meal for them. And that's the thing is you can't tell what somebody needs.
And you don't know what people are going through.
Exactly.
We got our person that comes around here right now, and she does a little bit of cleaning around the shop for us, around the office. This poor lady, if you talk to her today, she don't act like it, but literally, her daughter died in a car accident last week. Yeah. And then 2 days after that, she totaled her own car.
Yeah.
She's having a very, very
And not long before that, her car got broken into and all her stuff stolen.
That's right. And just before her daughter died,
it was like a week before.
No, it was like a couple days, because remember she had to borrow money off of me to get gas money to go down to South Carolina to see the daughter that died, to get there, because she couldn't get, her debit card and all that was stolen, so she couldn't get money to go down to South Carolina when her daughter died.
Yeah.
And she borrowed $40 off of me for gas if she could make it there. And then when she got back, it was like a day after she got back, that's when her car got hit and totaled. And but we're talking, this all happened last week.
Yeah, within the span of 5 days.
And when her daughter died, she was a wreck that day. But when she came back and then after her car got hit, if you talk to her like a regular person and you don't know, she don't act and show you that she just had a very rough week.
No, and
you don't know it.
I was sitting in Dad's office today with Michaela, and we're waiting to record the podcast, and she came in just to talk to Dad. She has a car here.
Yeah, her car got towed here. She wanted to make sure the insurance company got hold of it.
She was just checking up on her car, and I was sitting in Dad's office, and she looks at me and she goes, "Shouldn't you be back there working?" Sitting there and joking around with me. And I was like, whoa, wait, you the same lady or you someone different?
And so you don't know what people are going through and what happened in their life. Because we all carry things different.
Yeah.
I got a girl on my Facebook right now. I don't know her personally. I have not met her personally. But God bless her. She just lost her child. Her child just passed away. Mm. I'm not sure of what, but my prayers to her. But this poor girl is going through living hell right now because I can't imagine losing a child. No. And on top of that, her child was young, only 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
So, and she's a single mother. And she's rough. Still, sometimes she puts posts of how she misses her son here and there, but still, I see her comment on other people's posts. Keep your head up, and she shares a lot of the God posts and that.
Yeah.
So if you don't see the couple posts that she posts here and there about missing her son, usually late at night, you would never know anything about her son. What happened?
No, but that's the thing, and that's the thing we need to carry into this holiday season, and this is what Christmas truly means, is that we all get things that we don't feel we deserve. I 100%, no doubt, I bet you if you talk to our cleaning lady and you ask her if she deserved for her grandson and daughter to die in a car wreck.
That's right, her grandson was in that car too.
Yeah, if she deserved that. No one deserves that.
No.
There's very little things you can do to deserve something like that. But at the end of the day, the cards you get dealt is the cards you get dealt. And
there's a purpose in everything.
Exactly.
God has a purpose for everything.
But that's the thing we need to carry on in this holiday season, is that you already switched your card once. When Jesus came and he died on that cross, he gave you the card to go be in the project with that cute girl. And he took suffering while his lungs are collapsing, nails in his feet and hand, crown of thorns on his head digging into his skull.
And he whipped and beat.
Yeah.
for hours.
Had to carry, I think they estimated it at like 600 pounds.
Yep.
I think there was a science channel that did something on that. They said it was like 600 pounds was how much that cross would have weighed. And he had to carry that and drag that miles.
Yep.
To where he would eventually die. And he did nothing to deserve that.
Nothing at all.
But we all did.
Yeah.
And he switched cards. He said, yeah, here you go. Take my card. I'll take yours. So now we get a free pass. All we have to do is recognize and see Jesus for who he truly is, which is our Lord and Savior.
And it says right in the Bible, the best way to get to heaven is to love your neighbors as your own, love your friends, and even love your enemies, because we're all God's children. God loves us all. So we're supposed to love everybody, and that means help everybody out.
Yeah.
And Jesus, you gotta think about this. We celebrate Christmas. The true meaning of celebrating Christmas is to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Now, mind you, us humans, we're dirty, nasty creatures. We're sinners. We're not very good people all around to follow the rules of God.
Right.
Now, without the birth of Jesus, none of us would make it to heaven. We will all be condemned to hell. We'd all be on that cross and being crucified. God gave his child, and his child lived a sinless, perfect life on this earth. And then he died the criminal's death. He died the death of a murderer, of a thief, of a very bad people, sinful
a terrorist,
people.
Yeah.
On the cross, being beaten, tortured. I don't know about you, but I've gotten nails through my hands. They're screwdrivers, at least. Accidentally. It don't feel too well.
No.
And that was just by me poking and slipping and quickly going through. Mind you, they actually put, and this was screwdrivers. You gotta think about the nails of back in the day was not like the little tiny nails that we put the carpenter nails in to build a deck around these days. Their nails were a spike. It was like a railroad spike.
Yeah.
It wasn't a little tiny nail. And they put it to his hand, and it wasn't sharp like the nails today, which are sharp. And they didn't have like a nail gun where it's boop, done. You're talking, they put it against there, and then they beat it with a hammer, and they beat it like 5, 6 times. And then they had to do the next hand, then the feet. I cannot think of any pleasure out of that.
No.
And I cannot even imagine the pain, because even when I put screwdrivers through my hand, which is only, they're only like maybe a 1/4 inch thick, and I just put it through my hand, and it happened so quick I didn't realize what happened till after it was through my hand. I can't imagine being tied to a cross and then somebody slowly walking over going with a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch spike, put it against my hand, and it just kind of feels like a ball in your hand because it's not that sharp, and all of a sudden they just start beating it with a mallet. All I'm picturing is that guy who's trying to put together a deck, and he's trying to beat that nail in, and he keeps missing, and he takes him 300 hits to make the nail in an inch, and he keeps missing, and the nail keeps bending, and you got to kind of straighten it, and yeah.
I'll pass on that one.
I'll definitely pass on that. Then he sat there on a cross for an hour, dying of dehydration.
I think official estimates said he died in 6 hours.
Which were the quickest ever to die on a crucifixion. Yeah. Normally, now if you read about the crucifixions of these days, most people that die on what they do is you're on a crucifixion. When you're crucified, people can live up to 3-4 days being crucified. And what the Romans used to do is after you was on that cross for more than 10 hours, they broke your legs.
Yeah.
Now breaking your legs,
can't support yourself.
You can't support yourself. You hung more. You struggled more. And usually you died within 24 hours after they broke your legs.
Yeah.
Which was a long, painful death. Jesus actually died in 6 hours, and the Romans couldn't even believe it. They didn't even have to break his legs, and they're like, dude, he's dead. And they're like looking around like, how is he dead? Wait a minute, whoa, who fed him the rat poison?
But I mean, you think about it. Jesus went through more cruelty than a normal terrorist or whatever would. Yeah. In those times being crucified.
He was whipped for hours straight.
Usually they'd whip you, they'd do their thing, and then they'd hang you. On the cross and everything.
Or if they crucified you, they'd put you up there, but you spent time in jail for a while. Jesus literally, he was arrested Thursday, and by Friday he's on a crucifixion.
And dead.
But they
beat,
tortured him and all this. But most criminals, they went to jail, they went through trial, they did all that, and they spent like probably a couple months in jail. And then at that time, okay, now we're going to crucify you, we're going to walk you to the cross, we're going to put you on and you put on there to die.
Right. I know Jesus had the shortest death on a cross, but let me just think about this, is you're up there for 6 hours.
Yep.
Like, there's sometimes, I have a lot of tattoos.
After being beat.
Yeah.
For how many hours?
And after, you just dragged your cross there.
And you had the crown thorns.
But I'm a tattoo person. I like tattoos. And my longest tattoo took 5 hours. And normally tattoos don't really hurt me. It's more like a kind of pinch kind of thing where it's whatever. But after 5 hours of it, you start to feel it. And, imagine, and that's just a needle going in and out and blah, 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 and something I signed up to do. Imagine not signing up to do it, getting railroad spikes through your hands, feet, having a crown that is literally poking, and stabbing into you anytime you move your head, and you're just hanging there. You can't move your hands, can't move your feet. You can bend your knees, but I'm sure it hurts your feet because, they're kind of held there with a nail.
Yeah. Nope. It's, what he did for us as people, he gave us salvation. And then for him to come back 3 days later, back from the dead, with death in his hand, saying, your sins are all forgiven.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that in itself, for somebody to say, hey, I did this, I died for you, so your dirty, filthy sins can be forgiven. That means all you hookers, you're forgiven. That means all you drug addicts, you're forgiven.
Yeah.
That means all you thieves, you're forgiven. All you adulterers, you're forgiven.
Our friend Dustin said it best. He said this in youth group one time. He was like, he said that Jesus, the amount of times he got whipped, because usually they have some type of public official recording everything that's going on.
Yeah. Especially the Romans. Romans are very good at recording
the stuff. Number of times he got whipped, usually they would write it down.
Yeah.
They lost count. That's how many times he got whipped. And Dustin, we're in youth group one time and he was giving a sermon and it was towards the end and he says, every time you sin, that's another lashing on Jesus. Every time anytime you watch porn, anytime you steal something, anytime whatever you do, that is a sin. Jesus took a lashing for it. And that was one of the most powerful things I've ever heard.
That is powerful. Man, I'm old. I gave Jesus a lot of lashings. God bless you, Jesus.
And one thing I want to make clear, because this is the way I thought of it at first until I just had some type of awakening, was I would sit there and every time I'd do something that's considered a sin, I'd be like, God, I just put another lashing on Jesus. That's not how it works. It's not like, angels are sitting there marking off every time and then...
Jesus, get over here!
Right.
They just sin, get in position. Oh, man!
That's not how it works. It's, you're already going to sin as many times as you're going to sin. Your life is set. Everything that you do, we have free will. But everything you do is already accounted for.
And God already knows you're going to do it. He knows who you are. And I picture this like this, is God knows us better than we know him.
Oh, definitely.
And better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
He knows what you're going to do before you even know what you're going to do. He knows your next move. And he knows what the outcome of your next move is going to be. And I kind of put it like this is because some people are very transparent people. And I say this because I use Christina. We use her a lot. A little bit different things because she's one how peppy she is.
Yeah.
But she's a very transparent girl. And one of the things is she's very transparent. So she came down like normal today when she got in, gave everybody their hugs and all this. And I looked at her, I said, what's wrong? She goes, oh, I'm just tired. I'm like, no, what's wrong? You could see her when she has something bothering her. She's very transparent. And I'm like, she goes, what do you mean? I said, Christina, don't lie to me. I know when there's more to it. She goes, well, and then she told me the story. She goes, how did you know? I'm like, because you're transparent, I already know. Well, here's the thing. We're transparent to God. He already knows.
The way I like to think about it is me. I've seen The Office upwards of 20 times. I'm talking front to first episode to last episode. I've seen it close to 20 times, if not more. And same with the show Doctor Who. And when I go back and I start it all over, I promise you I can tell you what episode that Jim proposes to Pam and like all this. And so I sit there and I kind of, in a sense, don't take this the wrong way, but in a sense feel like God when I watch those types of shows. Because I'm sitting there and... in the first episode, Jim and Pam do something kind of flirty, and I'm like, they don't know it yet. They're going to get married. And, there's stupid little stuff like Doctor Who, the revamped version starting in 2005, the first Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, and Rose Tyler, who's played by Billie Piper, and even into David Tennant's. But anyway, that's too much. All throughout Rose Tyler's companionship, because she's the one that travels with the Doctor, Bad Wolf is everywhere. From the first episode she's in to the last episode she's in. And even the last episode with Christopher Eccleston, he says, what does Bad Wolf mean? It is everywhere. And they come to find out that Rose looks into the TARDIS and becomes the universe. And she saw the word Bad Wolf. And she spread it everywhere throughout the galaxy. So if you go back and watch it, there's Bad Wolf spray painted on as graffiti back in episode 3. And there's, they're at a station called Bad Wolf. But you don't see that at the first time because you're not looking for the words Bad Wolf. So you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. Keep going. And then when you see that all play out and you watch it again, you're like, oh, I see that one. They don't know it yet, but that's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
But it's true. And basically, bottom line is, you gotta think Christmas is, it's not about Santa Claus, it's not about presents. Christmas is about Jesus. It's about what Jesus did for us. It's what Jesus stands for, and it's what Jesus will do for us in time and God. And during the Christmas season, like, yeah, I get it, you miss people who passed away and that, but you should be rejoicing and enjoying the people who are here. because those are the people that matter. Spend the Christmas season loving the people that are here on this earth with you, going through this with you, because you don't know if they're going to be here for the next season.
Yeah.
And forget about buying them the gifts. You know, you don't need to go be buying them gifts and all this stuff. Don't worry if you don't get the money to buy them the gifts that you think you should want. Like I tell everybody, asks me, what do I want for Christmas? I want nothing. I don't want nothing for Christmas. If I want anything in life, as far as material things, I can buy it myself.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy me gifts. Just be there for me. That's all I ask. Just be there. And what I want, like I say, we should be using this time of year to love each other. And like I said, the best gift you can give anybody is either a good compliment or give them a hug. You know, this time of year, everybody's going through different hardships, different pains, and
a lot of stress.
A lot of stress, which we shouldn't be, because we should be celebrating and rejoicing the birth of Jesus Christ is what we should be doing, not stressing. Obviously, we're stressing, and best thing you can do is compliment and hug people, and it will help the burden of the stresses, which is as stupid as it sounds, and it's even a scientific fact that a hug reduces stress because it lets people know that they're cared for. So basically, 'tis the season. It's not even a season to be celebrated as a gift, or I don't even see it as it should be like. I don't even want to say I want to consider it like a holiday season. It's a season of rejoicing. We rejoice over the birth of Christ. We rejoice over what the Christ has done for us. And it was a rejoice over the suffering that the Christ went through to give us the key way to heaven. He basically think about it, he gave us the master key to heaven. Yeah. And we need to thank him about that. Use this month to pray to God, not for things, not for material things, not for Santa Claus, not for a big fat bank account and not a fat butt or whatever. Pray to God thank you, God, for giving me a second chance.
Yeah.
Thank you, God, for giving me your own son to be the lamb of this earth, to die for my sins, to conquer death, and give me the key way to heaven. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate the life of Jesus, the living God, because Jesus is still here. He's still on this earth with us. We just haven't seen him because he's like Bigfoot and hiding. But he's still here helping. Hey, it never says in the Bible that he doesn't stay on earth.
No.
So, here's the thing is, this is the season of the birth of the man who changed all of our lives and changed the world forever. Let's celebrate him. And with that saying, what do you want in your comment section?
I think my comment section, I'm a strong believer in Christmas miracles. I want to know what your Christmas miracle was.
Nice. I like that. I am going to say, because I myself am very big on Christmas miracles. I like to see good Christmas outcomes. And I know there is some bad. I got a two-part, kind of. One part is I want to know what have you had happen in your life with Christmas that actually made a positive impact on your life. Whether it's somebody gave you a hug when you were in a downtime, whether it was somebody paid it forward like they did to Devin and bought him lunch. Something that really brightened your day around Christmas time that really made a big difference during the holiday season. And the second part of my it's not so much a comment, but it's a request. I want everybody everybody to rejoice, love each other, and for this holiday season, let's do as much good for each other as possible. Pay it forward, help people out, give people hugs, give people compliments. Let's take the burden of life off of each other so we can all enjoy a good, happy holiday season. And with that, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and hope you all have a great week.